aging faster and we look older than we actually are. Now I'm curious and I'm low-key ready to get my feelings hurt because y'all have been saying some crazy things about how people look, but I want to know, how old do y'all think I look? Personally, I think I look my age, but there was one time I was at the airport trying to go through security and the man like almost didn't let me through because he thought I was under 12 years old.
Apparently, Gen Z is aging faster than millennials.
Oh my god, shut up, bitch! I know you're old, ugly ass ain't talking.
Chill, relax. I'm simply adding on to some discourse that's going on the internet. Now, I was born in 1994. Yes, that year ends in a 4 and so does this one. I'll be 30 in August. I'm not gonna say how old I think I look. In fact, troll me in the comments and tell me that I look 68.
Yeah, your forehead looks like a ball sack.
Yes, thank you. Now, why is this? Doesn't Gen Z start in 1998? Or is it 96? I honestly don't know. Now, remember when we were growing up? We would eat shit like Go-Gurt, drink Hawaiian Punch. In fact, it was during our childhoods when the McDonald's dollar menu popped up. So us baby millennials were eating all sorts of shit. Essentially, we were raised on a pure diet of MSG and preservatives, and that shit cooked us from the inside out. Yes, we are all mentally ill. However, did it make us hot? Did the preservatives preserve us? Now, as for Gen Z, especially the 2000ers, the ones who hit teenage around the beginning of the 2010s, when the craze around organic food and pure food started. Them hoes weren't raised on Red 56. Was Gen Z eating the beaver butt gland fluid that we were eating for our raspberry flavoring? Because that shit was good for the skin. Gen Zs who were in high school from 2016 onward, weren't they eating the healthy ass Michelle Obama meals? Meanwhile, we were ingesting chemicals. Is that what's up? Is that why? They say no, it's the stress. But could this have anything? Anyway, whatever, I'm just having fun. However, this is actually a topic that's been going on for some months now. There are deep dives about it on YouTube. There's a lot of discussion on TikTok. This is actually a thing. Anyway, who knows? I'm a plastic and wrinkly old bitch and my pizza is on the way, so this is none of my business anymore.
All right, quick video, man. Talking about Gen Z, aging fast. It's a little talking point that's been going out here. And, a lot of them is just jumped into the drug game. A lot of these jumped into the drug game. You got a lot of women that's of the era. They young and it's the pinnacle of their beauty. And they wearing makeup. And, I think a lot of women don't really understand makeup. You know what I'm saying? Makeup is, it changes your pH balance. It changes your hormones. You clogging up your pores. It ages you. And for a lot of men, these niggas doing Trish. They doing WAC. They doing pills. You know what I'm saying? They don't get no sleep. And then also on top of that, it's a lot of people that believe the American diet is poisonous. There's a lot of people that believe the American diet is very poisonous. So you factor all that in, people don't drink water no more. Then you got to understand Gen Z is really that, first generation, to really grow up where the parents didn't really cook like that. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really cook like that. They grew up off noodles. They grew up off, Hamburger Helper. They grew off quick shit. Our parents actually, prepared meals, meatloaf, hamburgers at home. We got McDonald's at home. Remember that Eddie Murphy joke? Our parents, they cooked. They didn't cook every night, but they cooked. And then on top of that, even the fast food back then was more healthy and it wasn't as poisonous. You look at McDonald's, that man did that study. And what did it say about McDonald's? He left McDonald's in the vault and bacteria didn't eat it. So there's a number of things. And then I don't want to jump around too much, but then once you really look at it as well too, in this generation, sleep deprivation. A lot of these people don't believe in sleep. Sleep is where you grow. Sleep is where your body, it heals itself from the bad cells, the cancer causing cells. That's what really replenishes your body. And when I kind of talk about fitness and people believe you always got to eat something when you go to the gym. No, when you wake up in the morning, you don't need to eat anything. Your body is at its strongest point in the morning. So you can go into the gym and you still strong without putting any fuel in your body. And then after you get out the gym and you had a good workout, once you start putting things into your body's in a calorie deficit. And once you start putting nutritious food in your body, it ramps up your metabolism even faster. People think, well, you got to eat something before you go to the gym. Not in the fucking morning, you don't. Your body is already replenished. The bad cancer cells is gone, it's regenerated, you're healthy, you're strong. Your body's hydrated, you ready to go. But when you don't get that sleep, your body don't get to regenerate. You don't get to get the bad cells out. You don't really get to repair, your body don't get to repair, grow, recover. That's what it needs to do. You can't speed up sleep. That's your recovery time. That's when your body self-heals itself. You know, you on a fast. And you kind of can replicate that throughout the day with fasting. But sleep is nothing like sleep. Nothing like it. So if you ain't getting enough sleep and, you know, you doing drugs, you smoking weed, you putting makeup on your face, yo, you ain't cooking home cooked meals, you're not taking care of your skin, you're not washing your face. This generation don't believe in washing their ass. Also, if you fucking multiple people, that's multiple energies being mixed, especially for a woman, that make you look tired. I remember I used to work with this chick back in the day, and she just always looked tired, but she had 4 kids. She just always looked worn and torn. She always looked drained. And then when you out here, you know, you fucking multiple people, that's draining, bro. When you out here selling coochie, like, and not only do that coochie have some miles on it, respectfully, right? But you start to look drained. You're getting drained of energy. You're mixing souls and energy with you. You mixing all that with you. You know, a lot of these people working 12-hour shift and going home and staying up for 4 hours, getting 2 hours of sleep. No. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they got a lot of bad habits that was created in their childhood. What you think when you do drugs, when you go out partying, drinking every night, what do you think that do to the body? What you think it do to the skin? You ain't drinking no water. You ain't eating no vegetables. All those were prerequisites for parents in the past. You had to eat your squash. You had to eat your Brussels sprouts. You had to eat those things. You had to know what a meal was. You know, spaghetti. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Baked chicken. Even home fried chicken. You ate home cooked meals was better than eating Popeyes and shit. You know what I'm saying? And then as you got older, your parents had you washing the dishes. You know, as you got older, after you wash the dishes, then your parents had you doing what? You wash the dishes, then you learn to prepare the meal, chop the onions, chop the tomatoes, or cut the celery. You know what I'm saying? All that type of shit. Then you learn to prepare the food. Therefore, you pass some of those recipes down into when you had your kids. But now, you know, everybody living off the dollar menu. You know, everybody got bad habits. You know, nobody taking they vitamins and shit. So, yeah, you got a whole generation that's looking aged like milk. We got bad practices, bro. A lot of these parents who didn't create 2-parent households, who had their kids living off the dollar menu, didn't force their kids to drink water. Bought, you look at some of these women who got EBT cards. They refrigerator is filled with frozen food, which is high in sodium. They don't cook. They don't prepare shit no more. So why do you think these kids got bad habits and they looking old and they always injured and sick? No good habits. But hey, man, thumbs up the video, share the video, hit the link in the description, join the Patreon. Peace.
I'm 27. By the time you're seeing this, I'm 27. So, happy birthday to me. I'm 27 today. It's taken 27 years for me to fully accept who I am as a person, to accept how I exist in this world, and to not feel bad for those things. I looked too old when I was young. I'm always going to look a little bit old. I think that I'm one of those people that is just aging kind of weird. There you go. That's how old I am.